Hello there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in today here live on Zoom or YouTube. This is going to be getting started with Top Producer X. So whether you're a brand new Top Producer customer altogether, or maybe you've been with Top Producer for years, but you're just making the switch over to the brand new Top Producer X, great to have you here. Something to take away from this, I should say, no matter kind of where you are in your Top Producer journey. I'm going to show you, a walkthrough of all the settings, how to configure them, why you should configure them, before you really can dig in and get started with Top Producer X. We'll also talk about how to how to import contacts and get started using the follow-up coach feature, and then make sure that you know where to go to find more resources and help and things like that. So just to cover a few administrative items before we begin here today. Like I said, this is Getting Started with Top Producer X. I'm your host, Spencer, with Top Producer's customer success team. And I'm also joined in the chat by Marvin LaRosa, my friend and colleague, one of our research technicians and MLS support. So yeah, good to have you guys here. This is definitely an interactive show. Please keep in mind. All you have to do geez, I can't speak today. All you have to do to join in is, if you're on Zoom, just make sure that you use either the chat feature at the bottom or the Q&A button. So the chat will go to everyone. The Q&A button will go to just me, and then I'll answer your question live. No matter if you put it in the chat or the Q&A, don't worry too much about that. If you're on YouTube, just make sure you're logged in with a Google account, and that will allow you to comment and ask questions and engage with us there. So anything you'd like to share, as we get started here, please feel free to do so. Maybe you'd like to let us know how long you've been doing real estate for, how long you've been using Top Producer for, whereabouts in North America you're coming from. Anything else you feel like sharing, please feel free to reach out. It's just fun to hear from you guys and really drives the show. So, because you know what, we can definitely learn something and have a good time at the same time. So that's my thought. Yeah, so moving right along here. Just want to point out that perhaps after the show today, you feel like you could really benefit from some one-on-one help. All you have to do is reach out to our customer care team. So there's a couple different methods that you can use. You can use the live chat in the bottom right corner of your Top Producer CRM, or actually any Top Producer product, Fivetreat, Top Producer website, etc. Just click on Get Help Now in the bottom right corner. You'll be instantly connected with one of our senior customer care reps. Very knowledgeable. They're willing to help out with technical issues, tips and tricks, questions, etc. You can also reach out by phone, of course. Just call us at 1-800-830-8300. Both those first two options can be used from Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But one little thing to note is if you use the live chat outside of business hours, you can actually leave a message and we'll still get back to you through the chat there. Then you can, of course, email us as well at support@topproducer.com. Just please allow up to 1 or 2 business days for response if you decide to email in. Yeah, so moving right along here, this is the game plan for today. We're going to be covering Top Producer X's settings, as I mentioned before, show you what you need to configure in order to get the most out of your CRM. So, if you're brand new to Top Producer X, you need to configure your settings. You need to integrate your email, MLS, that kind of stuff, just to really customize the experience to you and your business, right? So it's going to be a blank slate at first. It has to be about you and what's important to you in your business. After that, we'll talk about building your contact database. So whether you have contacts coming from a spreadsheet, maybe from your MLS, that kind of thing, or maybe even from Office 365 or Google, for example, chances are we can get those contacts imported into your top producer. So I'll show you a couple tips and tricks on that, some best practices for that. And then we'll talk about the follow-up coach for cleaning up your database and following up at the same time, working your sphere of influence and things like that, and really kind of staying on top of your database, making sure no one falls through the cracks. And then finally, we'll finish off with help and support resources. Make sure you know where to go afterwards as well for more knowledge content. So before we actually jump in further, just want to run a quick little poll here for you guys, just for fun. So here is this poll, and I just want to see where you guys are at in terms of, using a CRM. So as I say here, welcome to Better Client Relationships with Top Producer X CRM. That's also what the welcome email is called when you first sign up. So have you used a CRM before? Or is this maybe your first one? So just want to see what you guys, where you guys are at on that, just for fun. And it also gives me a chance to have a little bit of coffee. Awesome. Perfect. I'm going to end that polling just because we got all participants. So sharing the results there. First CRM I've ever used for real estate. Awesome. Well, hope to get you off to a great start with Top Producer X. Perfect. I believe that's probably Sandy. So Sandy, well, once again, thanks so much for joining us today. Glad you got my invite. So Sandy, if anyone else is watching, Sandy, I believe, has been a Top Producer user for a while, but it's just getting started with Top Producer X. So just correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, Sandy. But very good to have you here today. I will not lead you astray. Don't worry. So perfect. So moving right along here, we'll go into our first point. So this is create a solid foundation for success with TPX by learning about its vital settings first. So everything from setting up your calendar integration, email integration, linking to your MLS, setting up texting if you'd like, things like that. All great ways to customize your CRM experience and make sure that it's going to be ready for prime time, right? And so that's what we're going to cover first. And actually, sorry, excuse me, before we jump into that, one last thing for any brand new users watching, I do want to give a brief demo, just about a 2-minute demo of how you would first get signed in for the very first time, find that welcome email, things like that, and then add your very first contact. So we're just going to take, like I said, just about 2 minutes. I promise it doesn't take long. Oh, sorry, I just got a question a note in the Q&A section here from Sandy, and Sandy's saying, this is Cindy. I'm logged in through Sandy. Again, who's logged in. I may be the only one of her team that is participating. No problem. That's okay. Cindy, thanks for joining in today. Thanks for clarifying. That's great because I know that Cindy, I plan to actually meet with all of you very shortly. So, but I just sent this out as a sort of preliminary thing, just to get even more of a head start. So Cindy, nice to see that you were able to join in today. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, just a quick demo, like I said, for anyone that might be a brand new Top Producer user. Just gonna run through this really quick here. So guys, here's what it would look like if you're brand new and you're finding that email, welcome to Better Client Relationships with Top Producer X. You'll be looking for that coming from sales@move.com. You should have your login credentials just down there in the middle. And then all you have to do is click on Get Started. And then you'll be met with the login screen. Just enter your brand new login credentials. And go ahead and sign right in. Then when you first log in, you will be met with the subscriber agreement. Just make sure that you have spoken with your sales rep and do have a good understanding of how the terms and conditions work. And then once you're comfortable with that, just feel free to move right along. And once you're on the My Information page, I recommend just filling out some of the basics here. So just make sure that your email address is the best one to recover your account. I'd recommend maybe filling in your mobile phone number. And then just at the bottom, the time zone as well. And then, yeah, just feel free to click on Save My Info. And I seem to have lost my Zoom screen. So please just let me know in the chat if you guys can still see what I am showing in that demo there, because my Zoom shared screen has just mysteriously disappeared. But if you can see, what I'm going to do is just add a single contact for now. I'm going to walk through just making, make-believe character or contact in this case. And just going to enter, once again, make-believe phone number, email address. And then we're just going to go down next and talk about contact statuses because they are very important. So guys, these represent where someone is in your sales pipeline. New being for brand new leads. Engaged being for leads that you have followed up with but not yet qualified. Future being for future prospects. Sphere of influence. Active being for active clients, current opportunities. And closed, of course, for closed transactions, past clients. In this example, let's pretend we're adding a lead that we've spoken with maybe two or three times. He's engaged. We're going to tag him as a buyer. And, maybe he's also like a referral or something. And we're just going to tag him with that. And for now, let's save this contact. So this is a brand new contact record. This is what it looks like in Top Producer X. You have the contact's main information on the left side of the screen there. You can navigate through the record with all these different tabs here quite easily, just to jump to where you need to go. The main page will always be the dashboard page by default. It'll show you the contact status, when the last touch on this record was, next important date, and most recent notes. So this is just an overview of the contact. You can also go down to edit contact at the bottom if you'd like to edit any details. We'll just, that's good for now though. And so that's just a basic intro into logging in for the very first time, making your first contact and getting started with Top Producer X. So like I said, if you're not a brand new user, thanks for hanging in there for a few minutes. Just got to make sure that our new users are taken care of as well. So that being said, guys, let's jump right into Top Producer X without further ado. So let me just switch over my screen here. So we have Jim Gordon right here, our brand new contact. He's a buyer, he's a referral. We've talked about contact statuses. We've talked a little bit about contact types. And these are essential for structuring your database. And what I mean by that is because you're going to want to be able to go to your contact page in the top left and at a glance, see what the structure of your business looks like. See how many engaged leads you have to deal with, how many people in your future contacts, sphere of influence, how many active, things like that. And using contact types especially, you can really narrow down these contacts. Like if I want to see a list of all my past clients, everyone that's tagged with past client will now show up when I search for that. Or maybe I want to, be able to send out some targeted marketing material. Maybe I have people tagged with a first-time home buyer or something like that. And then I want to send them like a group email. That's definitely possible. Or maybe I have my people tagged as townhouse buyers. That's perfect because then I can search for all townhouse buyers, highlight them all here, and send a group email to them with that brand new townhouse listing that I have, right? So just a quick example of why you would want to structure your database. And guys, to find out more about that, please feel free to join me in my Thursday webinar, 4 things you'll want to know after you set up TPX, where we'll definitely dive into that a lot more. But just wanted to give you guys kind of a basic understanding first of what the pipeline is about, the different tabs at the top of the screen, and especially the importance of contact type. So from the get-go, please make sure you're tagging your contacts with contact types. All you have to do is just, like I said, edit the contact, scroll down to the bottom, and you can add or remove contact types right here. You can even make your own, as you can see here. And I would just click add to create that, and it would be part of my database going forward. If I want to take multiple contacts at once, I'm just going to select them all here on the left side with the checkboxes, and then click on add contact type. And then maybe these are all buyers and I want to tag them as such. I would just add contact type and update them all at once. So just a quick brief intro, like I said. For now, guys, what we're going to do is actually head down to the settings in Top Producer X. So let's go down to settings in the bottom left and start talking about how to set up our CRM, get it ready for usage. So what we're going to talk about first is my information. So this is the same information page that you see when you first log in. So you can come back here, edit this anytime, not a problem. No real rush to fill out every single detail right off the bat. If you do have Market Snapshot, however, it will be a little bit more vital though, because A lot of the information here will be used for your branding. So you'll want to fill out your social media links, your website links, contact information, and set a color theme for the report. Otherwise, if you don't have Market Snapshot or a Top Producer Pro bundle, like I said, you can always come back here later and fill this out. So let's go down to the calendar sync next and talk about this in just a moment. So calendar sync, first up. So great integration, great supplementary feature. And the reason I say that is because, you know, Top Producer X has its own task management system. If I click on tasks on the left side of the screen here, I can see a very comprehensive view of, you know, overdue tasks, today's tasks, tomorrow's tasks, and even next 7 days or custom date range, and a list of all important dates for birthdays and anniversaries. So I want to actually manage my tasks and mark them as done here. Let's say I go back and I say, oh, coffee with potential buyer. You know what, my bad. That was yesterday. That's already completed. Let's mark this as done. Great chat. Follow up soon. And I can schedule a follow-up for whenever necessary and save that wrap up and get a lot of work done and, you know, documentation done and schedule follow-up. So that's kind of the basics, but then the calendar sync is really going to help you to ensure you don't miss out on your most important appointments. So anything time sensitive. So maybe you're using Google Calendar, Office 365 Calendar, Apple Calendar, etc. You can actually integrate your calendar service here using the email that it's a part of. And this will set up a bi-directional synchronization for your appointments only. So very important to keep that in mind. Only something with a time attached to, like 12 to 1, 1 till 1:45, that kind of thing. Your standard tasks and to-dos and things like that in Top Producer, they will not be synchronized because, like I said, it has its own task management system waiting to be used, very easy to use, and it's an integral part of using the CRM. So that being said, you definitely don't want to miss your appointments when you're on the go. So add your calendar sync in here if you like, and then that way you'll be notified on your smartphone and you won't miss out on your appointments. So like I said, great supplementary feature. One thing to note is that if you have Apple iCalendar, you will actually have to integrate your iCloud.com address specifically. So if you're not sure what that one is, maybe you don't use it very often, you may have to pinpoint that first. I would recommend maybe checking these settings in your iPhone, your iPad, logging into your iCloud, take a look there. If all else fails, you know, maybe contact Apple's support. But that being said, Apple does have an article. So if you search up Apple app password on Google or Bing or whatever you like to use, there's an article from support.apple.com. You can take a look at it, and please make sure it is the official article by Apple. You don't want to accidentally go to some you know, bad site or something, but you can go to support.apple.com, the official Apple site, and using app-specific passwords is the article you'll want to use. It'll give you a walkthrough how to create a one-time use password that will allow you to integrate your iCloud with your Top Producer X for calendar, for email, for contact sync, that kind of thing. And keep in mind, for our Yahoo users that are going to set up email integration later, you'll have to do essentially the same thing. So after you set up your calendar sync, give it a few minutes, 10, 15 minutes, it should start syncing in your appointments, and it should continue to do so going forward. So great feature to have, and please keep in mind you can only integrate one calendar at a time though. So coming up next, we're going to talk about email integration. So this is set up very similarly to calendar sync, as I mentioned, except this is specifically for emailing services. So everything about receiving and sending emails, this integration is about. So you can integrate more than one address, as you may have noticed here. So I would recommend connecting any addresses that you use for business, for your real estate business. All you have to do is fill in the email at the top here, click authorize. If it's a Google account, that will be very simple. You'll just have to follow a couple steps, give it permissions, but just make sure that you're checking off all the permission checkboxes, or else it just won't work. It won't connect properly. For Office 365, very similar, should be pretty straightforward. For something like an Exchange server that's hosted by maybe your brokerage, it may require some more specific server settings. You may need to obtain your server address, port numbers, things like that. So if that's the case, you'll want to reach out to, you know, your IT department or system admin, or maybe even your manager would have access to that information. Once again, for Yahoo, you'll have to create a app password. Yahoo also has an article on their support page, so just search up Yahoo app password. So APP for like application password, and that should help you out there. Yeah, so I would recommend, like I said, integrating your main email address that you use for real estate, or maybe you have an assistant. You'll probably want to integrate their email as well, so then that way they may be able to assist you with handling email activities, or you can see emails between them and your clients and things like that. So whichever emails you want to integrate, please go ahead and do so. If it says status running, that means it's good to go. And if you just integrated a Google account and it says needs reauthorization, please just give it a few minutes. We've seen that happen before, and it tends to sort itself out in just a few minutes there. So moving right along to email signatures. After you've configured at least one email, you can see that you can configure a signature here. So it'll say has signature no. You just go ahead and click right on that, and you'll be given an editor box where you can work on your signature. So if you already have a signature, let's say in your Google account, Office 365, etc., chances are you can probably just copy and paste that over. If you run into any issues with that, usually most of the time it's to do with images or just different formatting that this can't handle. So you want to either, if it doesn't work right away, try putting it in pieces. I also recommend manually inserting images. That tends to work better than copy and pasting them in sometimes. And if all else fails, guys, all you have to do is contact our customer care team. We can definitely assist you in getting that working to the best of our ability. And yeah, there may be some formatting differences, but chances are we can get it looking pretty close, if not exactly the same. So moving down to lead providers. This is where you'll want to go if you have one or more online lead sources that you're getting leads from. And this could be anything from a simple website with a contact form where someone fills out their information and it goes to, and you follow up with them. Or it could be something like Zillow or Realtor.com or Trulia or things like that, right? So the advantage of this is instead of just getting a standard email notification from your lead provider, it'll actually create a contact for you in Top Producer automatically. So saves you some time. Nice flow there. All you have to do is copy this address, this myleads.io address. And guys, this may look like an email address, but it is not a traditional email address. You will not want to send this to your clients. It's not something to be, outward facing. It's basically an internal lead address that you can copy and paste into your lead providers, lead parsing settings, lead forwarding settings, or lead notification settings. And I do recommend that if given the option, you choose this address in addition to your standard email address. So that way you keep on receiving that same email notification from your lead source as you normally would, but then it also creates a contact for you in Top Producer. So guys, we do support over 150, officially support, I should say, 150 plus lead providers. Just click on this link here, and this will show you a page on our support website that highlights that. So as you can see here, other qualified lead providers, there's a ton of them. And as mentioned at the very bottom here, if you do not see your provider listed here, please just reach out to us at customer care. We can get that looked into and we can see if we can get support for it. And if you need any help at all with your lead providers, just not sure how to handle that, we do also have a video and an article. Just click on the little question mark. Marvin has also posted a video link in the chat here that you can use, same thing. So this will show you how to set up lead integration. Quick start video that actually I helped with. So if you watch the video, you may recognize my voice there. And if you go down here, it has some more frequently asked questions and things like that. Yeah, so with that out of the way, we're going to move down next to Market Snapshot. So Market Snapshot, this is part of the Top Producer Pro bundle. So if you're not subscribed to Market Snapshot, you won't have access to this area, but if you do, this allows you to customize the settings for your Market Snapshot reports. So if you are brand new to Market Snapshot, I do recommend actually just kind of leaving this as is for now, because the reason I say that is because, the more options, the better usually. I would say that, because if you turn something off here that your recipient may want, that's just limiting them, right? So let's say, for example, you think that your buyers may not want to see sold properties and you turn that off. That may be fine, but maybe there could be one or two that want to see that, right? So I usually recommend leaving that on. And you know what? Once they receive a market snapshot report, it's not a big deal. That they can filter it themselves with just one click. They literally just click one button and they're gone from the report. So like I said, it's not a big deal. That's just my opinion though. I'll leave that up to you guys. If you do make any changes here, just make sure you save your settings and click on view sample if you'd like to see just a sample mock-up snapshot report. Like maybe you've made some changes to your My Information page, your social media links, your color theme, things like that. That's a great quick way to see what it would look like. Yeah, so if you'd like to find out more about Market Snapshot, all you have to do is just reach out in the chat. Marvin and I can definitely get you in touch with someone that can go over a Market Snapshot demo with you. And just as a quick example here, let me show you what one of them looks like. So this is a market snapshot report. As you can see, it's a nice graphical report. Got lots of information in here that you can view. For example, if I sent this to a seller and it says it's a seller's market, perfect. That might be a good time for this person to sell, right? So great information. They can browse through different properties here. They can click on the map. This is going to let them browse and pan around and everything, right? So maybe I do not want to see the sold properties. I just click on sold and they're gone. And then I can click on a property. Maybe I am interested in this one right here in Rainier Valley. It's going to highlight it on the right side. I can click on it. And this is going to show me the full information for this market snapshot. So I'm going to see all the images from the MLS, median sold price, days on market, full property details. I can like this listing by clicking the heart. That's going to notify the agent or you if you have this. I can inquire about this listing directly. It's already got a nice pre-filled message in there stating the address and MLS ID number that you can use to start taking action and follow up on that inquiry. So great asset, great marketing tool, great for staying top of mind, great for buyers, great for sellers, great for past clients. I think you get the picture. Very customizable. It's something that you can just put a couple minutes into per person to customize the report. They're going to appreciate how much effort you put in there for them to get them that custom report that means something to them. And it's going to keep on sending out to them and keep them updated. And they're going to get daily listing alert emails with just price changes, just sold, just listed, that kind of thing. And your information is all around. So I've got my image, or sorry, my picture, my phone number, company logo. It would have my social media links and things like that attached to. So like I said, if you like to know more, just reach out in the chat. Marvin and I will get you in touch with someone. For now, we're going to go down to settings once again in Top Producer X. And we're going to go down to MLS Credentials. So MLS Credentials, this is where you link up your MLS board or boards. So this will allow you to pull in MLS data to your Top Producer X. If you have Market Snapshot, this will be necessary. You'll need to link up your MLS first. So all you have to do is click on Add MLS Credentials. Search for your board here. Click on it. And then enter your agent MLS ID number for your MLS there. Some MLSs do require a password as well, just depends. And then click on Save Credentials. And then it should go back here and say the status is valid. So you can add more than one MLS. If you're having any issues finding the MLS by its name or validating the credentials, I highly recommend reaching out to customer care as soon as possible. We can walk through that with you. We can troubleshoot that. Sometimes MLSs are just a little bit weird. There's so many out there. They all do things a little bit differently. It's amazing that we can have connectivity with this many MLSs. And so that being said, just reach out if you need anything. Chances are we can get that taken care of. And also, I highly recommend after linking up your MLSs to actually log out of your CRM in the top right corner here. Click on your profile button, then click on sign out, and then just sign right back in. And that's going to just refresh everything in your MLS after connecting. So in your CRM, I should say, after connecting your MLS. So we're just going to go ahead and log back in there. And yeah, we're going to talk about Task Plans Manager. This is where you go to put together your own transaction checklist, new lead follow-up plans, past client plans, prospecting plans, anything that you want to do with contacts or transactions you can create here. So, for example, we have a past client plan that I've started to create. We have a simple lead conversion plan. We see here that day 0, I am reminded to send out a market snapshot. I'm also reminded to call the new lead. Day 1, I have an automated snapshot follow-up info email that goes out. Day 3, I'm reminded to call the leading him, so on and so forth. This is a very, very simple example, but you can keep building on this, or you can start from scratch and make your own. So if you want to look at the example plans that we have built in, go to Browse Templates, click in here. Maybe you see Buyer Under Contract Checklist, and you think, hey, you know what? This could be a great starting point to start making my own task plan for my buyers. You then import the plan, save it, and then you then have access to it. Yeah, so it'll look like this, and you can start customizing this. And yeah, there's a lot of power here. You can customize it. You can add to-dos, calls, automated emails, things like that. Very, very flexible. So yeah, if you want to find out more about that, highly recommend reaching out to our customer care team. And I believe we also have an article on task plans as well as a video that Marvin can link to as well. And actually going hand in hand with that, there is the template library, just a couple steps down there. This is where you would go to make your own email and texting templates. So guys, for anyone that's not aware, we just launched texting templates last week. Highly, highly recommend you check it out. Really cool stuff. You can now make your own texting templates to simplify your texting follow-up through Top Producer X. And like I said, emails as well. So you can add from scratch. You can browse the library. You can look through here. See, I have a new townhouse listings one that I put together just as an example here that I can send out to any of my townhouse buyer prospects. But yeah, we have tons of different ones. So maybe you like this Happy Holidays one, but you want to edit it. Just click on it, then click on Customize Template. And you can work on this. You can rename it, things like that. You can save it. So once again, for these kind of features, I do highly recommend reaching out to customer care for that one-on-one sort of coaching. So I have actually a question here from Shirley Grindle in the chat. And Shirley, thank you so much for joining in today. Shirley is asking, can you put a signature in your, I think you meant text. So for sure, yeah, definitely nothing stopping you from doing that, Shirley. We don't have a dedicated texting signature area yet, but you can of course go into your texting templates here. So yeah, so unfortunately, Shirley, nothing that auto adds it, but you could basically just add it into all of your text, right? Like for example here, I have like, hey, person's first name, thanks for inquiry, our team will be in touch soon. Spencer, TP Realty, or whatever I wanted to add there, and I could just copy and paste that into all of my different texting templates. So yeah, it would just take a few minutes to set that up, and you'd be good to go, Shirley. But yeah, let me know if you have any more questions on that. I can definitely help you. Good question. Yeah, so a lot of power there between the Task Plans Manager and Template Library. I would say, focus on getting your database started first, and then maybe like about a week into using Top Producer, you can maybe start digging into the templates, because always good to set up the essentials first, which I'll show you more about soon. And then yeah, we have team management here. This is specifically for team leaders, brokers. If you're not the primary user on the account, you will not have access to this. So yeah, this is where you can configure additional users. So if you're structuring your team in Top Producer and you're the team leader, you just add an agent. You can fill in their information, give them a username and password, and you can choose which permissions they should have. So if you do not check the access data one for contacts and transactions, that will actually prevent the agents from seeing each other's contacts and transactions. But that being said, if you need them to handle a transaction, not a problem. You can just manually add them to the transaction. They will then have access to it. Yeah, you can also delete agents from here if you need to replace them and make a new user instead. You can also email them right from here if you ever need to send them a quick email. So very, very simple. And last but not least, we have texting. So I mentioned texting templates. This is where you want to set up your texting first. So all you have to do is enter your mobile phone number. Just please put, no spaces, no hyphens or anything, just all together. And then click on Save Texting Setup. What will happen next is you will receive a text message asking you to reply with confirm. Once you reply with confirm, just give it a few seconds. there will actually be a button up here in the top right corner that'll say check status. All you have to do is click on that. It's going to refresh, and it should have a green check mark and say your number has been set up for texting. Your new Top Producer X texting number is, and then it'll show you. And so guys, this is a virtual texting number. We cannot, give you we cannot allow you to use your own phone number for this, just because, that would be impersonating or spoofing a phone number. That's not something that is really legal. That's not something that phone companies would be very happy with us about. So yeah, the next best thing that we are allowed to do is give you a number at least in the same area code as your own. So you can treat this as a business number. You can put this in your signature. You could advertise this on your website, so on and so forth. Business cards if you want. Because if someone calls you at that virtual number, it's going to route it to your actual phone. So you will not miss any calls. And if someone texts you at that number, it's going to say you have a new message from so-and-so in Top Producer X. Click here to view it. And with the mobile update to Top Producer X coming very, very soon, that will be extremely usable. So stay tuned just a little bit longer for that. So guys, that is pretty much a full run through of the basic settings. Hope that gave you some understanding of why you should spend the time to configure them and what they're for. Of course, for more one-on-one help, you can definitely contact our customer care team. If you need a little bit more of that, like I said, one-on-one assistance, that's perfectly okay. This is just, of course, a general overview of the settings. So that being said, guys, coming up next, we're going to actually be talking about how to build your contact database in Top Producer X. Yeah, so as you can see here, I'm saying you can import contacts from spreadsheets or from email services via contact sync. So maybe you have a spreadsheet with contacts that you're bringing in from an older CRM, maybe from your MLS, or maybe a spreadsheet that you've even just put together yourself. Chances are we can import that to help get you started with your Top Producer database. And maybe you're a Google user or an Office 365 user, for example, or even an Apple iCloud user, and you have some contacts that are saved in your iCloud from your iPhone, your Google account from your Gmail, things like that. We can also use Contact Sync to help get those contacts in. That being said, there is a recommended way to handle that. If you are using a spreadsheet and you also have contacts in an email service, highly, highly recommended that you import your spreadsheet or spreadsheets first, and then your contact sync after. The reason I say that is because importing from a spreadsheet is a bulk import. It's just, all the data from the spreadsheet, all the contacts just goes right in there, right? Using contact sync, however, it's a little bit smarter. It'll actually check for duplicate contacts. It'll do its best to prevent that from happening, and it'll keep those contacts up to date from your Gmail to your Top Producer and vice versa, for example. So highly recommend spreadsheets first, contact sync after, if applicable. So let's go into Top Producer X and take a look at what this looks like. So I'm going to go to import contacts first. We'll cover importing from a spreadsheet. First step here is to click on choose file to import and browse your computer for that spreadsheet. And excuse me for one sec while I find it here. Sorry guys, just one moment here. Okay, so there we go. So say I've browsed my computer for this here. So I'm going to double click on my spreadsheet to open it. It's going to upload into this here, and we're on step 2 now. Verify field mappings to complete import. So guys, very, very vital stage. Please do not skip this. So first, right off the bat, we have contact status. So if you've been here since the beginning of the show today, you may remember that contact statuses are a representation of where someone is in your business, right? So what I'd ask you guys to do here is think about what's in your spreadsheet and think about what the majority of those contacts are. Is it maybe a list of your sphere of influence contacts? You'll probably want to import them into future. Or maybe it's a list of all past clients, or at least mostly past clients. You'll likely want to choose closed for that one. Maybe it's a list of brand new leads that you have yet to farm. You may want to enter those into new, for example. So choose the one that best identifies most of the contacts. So in this example, let's say we're just kind of inputting our sphere of influence, our bulk of our contacts. Let's go for future. We may want to actually type in sphere of influence here. And this is going to tag every single contact in this import with sphere of influence. And now we'll talk about contact types a little bit more later, but for now, the next step is field mappings. So this is definitely the most important part because this will tell Top Producer where to put your data from your spreadsheet into its field mapping. So on the left side here, this is what the column is called in your spreadsheet. So in my spreadsheet, the first column is called given name. And this shows me the first four examples from the spreadsheet here. So what I'm going to want to do is click on the drop-down box on the right side of this green arrow and match it up to what this should be. So given name, that's obviously first name. So I'm going to click on first name. And yours might say not mapped. Like yours might look like this when you first come in. Just one sec. Yeah, so yours might look a lot like this. It may not auto-detect it, right? And that's pretty usual, to be honest. That doesn't mean anything's wrong. It just means that if you're bringing a spreadsheet from a completely different program, it can't always auto-identify it, right? It's a completely different system. So surname, that's obviously last name. So let's click on last name. Street address. Let's actually click here, and I'm going to hit S, the S key on my keyboard a couple times until it jumps down to street/address, and that's the one I want. City, let's click C. There's city. State, let's click on our state full. That's going to go to state. Let's just keep clicking S. Zip code, let's hit Z. Zip. Country full to country. Email address, so on and so forth. Chances are your spreadsheet may have more than one phone number field, more than one email field. In that case, you'll want to see what kind of phone number it is and match it up accordingly. So telephone, if it's just phone 1, I would say 90% chance that should be mobile phone. Most people's primary phone is their mobile phone, right? Phone 2, I would say maybe likely that could be home phone if you're not sure. And then there's also business phone. There's also other phone and other phone numbers. So you can keep mapping them up if you have a bunch of different phone numbers. If your spreadsheet says email 1 type and then email 1, you'll actually want to ignore where it says email 1 type because that just is telling you from your old CRM or whatever what type of email that was. It's the actual data that you'll want to map directly. And then yeah, job title, etc. If you have a column in your spreadsheet for notes that you want to bring in, just choose add to contact notes. This will allow that data from that column in your spreadsheet to go into the notes per contact. Just please note you can only use this once per import. Or maybe you have contact types. So we talked about contact types up here. We're tagging everyone with sphere of influence. But maybe your spreadsheet already has it organized like buyer, seller, past client, sphere of influence, realtor, vendor, that kind of thing. Chances are you will likely want to not tag everyone. So I'm going to remove that. And we'll pretend that this one is contact type for 1 second. I'm going to actually match this up to contact type to have all my contacts tagged individually because that's a little bit more accurate. So after you're finished that, just double, triple check, make sure your status is right, make sure your contact types are good. Maybe you want to say old CRM and tag that with that, or maybe MLS contacts, just to tag all of them at once. You could do that, for example. Review this over, and if you're not sure, highly recommended that you give customer care a call before doing your import, or even use the get help now in the bottom right corner and just see James is ready to help right now. You could be like, hi James, what field should I map email 1 to in TPX? And then, for example, that would be a good way to get a quick answer there. Yeah, so once you've verified that, and guys, please don't worry if you have to spend 15, 20, 30 minutes on this, definitely worth the time to make sure your first import goes smoothly. So once you're sure, click on import contacts. It'll bring you back to the import contact screen, and then it'll say in progress, and it'll say 0 contacts. Please don't worry, that's just what it'll say until it's until it's completely finished. So give it a few minutes, then click on check status. And then once it says completed, that means you're good to go. So next, guys, the exciting part, let's see all of your contacts recently imported. Let's go to contacts in the top left. And let's click on, let's say, future, if we've imported them in the future. And then I recommend clicking on a few records. Just click right on their name or anywhere on this line here. And that's going to open up their contact record. and take a few minutes to review these. Make sure the phone numbers have mapped up correctly, email addresses, names, contact types, things like that. You can use the arrows up here to quickly jump through some records, or you can even use the arrows on your keyboard here to quickly jump through these records, which I find really easy to do and I use fairly often actually. So take a moment, review your records, make sure that that import looks good to you. Yeah, and that would be a successful import that you can start building on. You can start categorizing your contacts. We'll talk about that more soon, but for now we're going to go down to settings in the bottom left again and quickly talk about contact sync. So maybe you've finished your import from your spreadsheet and you want to import more contacts from your email service, or maybe all of your contacts are just in your email service only. Contact sync is for you. So you can link up your email here and yeah, Google Office 365, that kind of thing. Let me just delete this for 1 second, show you. I may have to log out really quick, just 1 second. All right, so settings, contact sync. Yeah, so here we go. So as it says, Top Producer X supports contact sync with the following email providers: Gmail/Google Apps, Outlook/Office 365, and Apple's iCloud. So all you have to do is fill in your email here and then click authorize. And guys, please keep in mind, once again, if you're an iCloud user, you have to use your iCloud.com address. It cannot be an alias address. Like for example, if you log into your iCloud with a Gmail account, do not use your Gmail because that'll start synchronizing your Gmail contacts, which you may not want. You'll need it to be at iCloud.com, like that specifically. But yeah, let's say in this example, I am synchronizing a Gmail. I'm going to click authorize. And this screen will look very similar for calendar sync and email integration, by the way. See, I choose an account. I'm just going to click on it. And in my case, I have already given it permission, so this is going to look a little bit different than it may look for you. It says it already has access. For you guys, it might have a bunch of checkboxes that you'll need to make sure the bottom two are checked. Then click on continue or authorize. And that's going to take us back to Top Producer X now. And should show us that our contact sync has started. There we go, running. Sync runs in the background automatically, keeping your account up to date. So as it says here, only one email address can be active at one time for use with contact sync. So if you have contacts across multiple email services, Google, Outlook, etc., you could integrate them one at a time, give them a little while to completely finish syncing. I would say to be safe, give them about half an hour to an hour. And then once you've confirmed that your contacts are synced into the future status, feel free to delete that, add another one. And then what you'll likely want to do is, once you're done all that, you probably want to make sure that it's the email that is here is the one that you use most often. So if you're a Google user and your contacts are syncing from your Android phone to your Gmail, you'll probably want to have it here so that it keeps your top producer up to date. And same with iPhone. If you're an iPhone user and your contacts are syncing to iCloud, you'll probably want to leave this off, with your iCloud address here synchronized. Yeah, but if you have any questions, any hesitations on using this feature or importing contacts, highly recommend you to reach out to customer care. We can make sure that you are taken care of. So guys, that's a couple ways to get your contacts in here. And actually, sorry, one last thing to note about the contact sync. It will actually bring in all of your contacts. I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing. You can always recategorize the contacts to inactive or non-client if they're not relevant to your business right now. It's not going to do any harm to have them in there. Your other agents that your vendors, etc. Also great if they get synchronized in here. You can tag them as non-client, you can tag them as agent or realtor, you can tag them as vendor, inspector, etc. And that's only going to make it easier for you if you need to maybe include them in a transaction. You can tag someone as an inspector, search for them, and add them as a transaction party, for example. So always beneficial to be able to take advantage of the emailing features and organization features in your top producer for other contacts like that too. So guys, that being said, we have a little bit of time left here, and we're going to quickly talk about the follow-up coach. So the follow-up coach, great big feature in Top Producer CRM. Basically, its core concept is 5 contacts a day that it believes you should follow up with or take some sort of action on, depending on their status in your pipeline, when the last interaction with them was, and a couple other variables. So great way to get started with your database, maintain your database, and also just do some extra prospecting day to day. So we're going to show you what that looks like a little bit here. So jumping into Top Producer X, we're going to go to the contacts page. And we're going to click on Follow-Up Coach along the top menu bar here. So as you can see, 5 tiles across the screen, 5 different contacts. Yeah, if you don't see anything in here right away, please just wait 24 hours after your first import, and then this will sort of kick into action. But yeah, the core concept here, like I said, 5 contacts a day, 5 different actions. You know, if you took action on these 5 contacts once a day, maybe you put aside 20-30 minutes a day and you just kind of grinded through this after you're done your tasks and to-dos for the day, and you did that Monday to Friday, that would be 25 additional contacts prospected and followed up with and reached out to further build relationships, to further keep in touch, and you never know what kind of you know, business can come from that. So let's look at an example here. Helen Ward, future contact, schedule a follow-up to ensure imported contacts don't fall through the cracks. So what the follow-up coach is saying is, I actually don't know where Helen belongs in your pipeline yet, because she may have been part of a bulk spreadsheet import. So let's go ahead, click on this. Follow-up coach is going to say update their pipeline status, contact type, and who they should be assigned to. So good advice. Let's go down to edit contact in the bottom here. Let's scroll all the way down to contact status and types. And maybe we realize, hey, you know what? Helen is a past client. Let's click on closed. Let's remove sphere of influence. Let's click in contact types and type in past client. Maybe we want to say she was a past buyer as well. That's just a contact type that I created myself. Maybe she was a referral. I can tag her as that. And maybe she's also a family friend. I can tag that. So just with these actions here, I've already started to organize Helen in my database much better than she was before. Let's go ahead and click on, actually, let's set the source too. Let's say the source was, yeah, referral, and save this contact. So you'll see the difference now. She's set to closed. She's got these contact types. I can search for her much better. She's going to be part of specific groups if I ever want to target them for emailing or certain material or, you know, things like that. Let's go ahead and mark this as done in the in the follow-up coach. But this is where the follow-up coach is going to ask, how did you reach out? Well, we haven't reached out to Helen, but maybe we should. So if this was a good opportunity, we were reminded, you know, it's been a little while, a month or two since we've spoken to Helen. Maybe we closed with her recently. We could pick up the phone, call Helen, and touch base with her, and then actually click mark done and say we called Helen. Say called Helen. She's doing great. Loves the house. Helen mentioned she may have a friend that is interested in selling with me. We'll follow up next week. So just an example, maybe we called a past client. She was happy to hear from us, and she said she had a friend that is interested in selling and listing with us. So what I'd want to do then is, you know, set a to-do maybe, or a call follow up on potential referral, or let's get more specific, listing referral. Let's say next week, same time, set it to the 7th. So guys, just to recap, thanks to the follow-up coach, we've been reminded about Helen. We've organized her in our database with statuses and types. We've reached out to her. We've documented that and what happened during the phone call, and we've scheduled a follow-up so we do not forget about that potential business. And we're going to save that wrap up and take care of everything at once. So then we go back to the follow-up coach, or sorry, excuse me, the contact record here. The notes are there in the notes section. The task for the follow-up is scheduled. If I go to the task list on the left side of TPX and I go to next 7 days, Oh, sorry, that's just outside the date range. Here it is. Follow up on potential listing referral. I can see it on my calendar if I go to next month. Follow up on potential listing referral. And I can take action on that when the time is right, or jump to the contact record. So as you can see, great way to take care of your contacts. If I click back on the follow-up coach, I see Helen is now complete. I see there's also other suggestions waiting for me. Market snapshot, maybe send it to the sphere of influence contact, active contact. It's telling me that I sent a market snapshot to this current client of mine, but they haven't viewed it. So I should actually find out why. I can click on this record. I can send an email follow-up, or maybe even send a text message and bring up our brand new texting templates here. Let's see. Market snapshot follow-up right here. And that's going to bring up a text template saying, "Hi, Wesley. Just checking in to make sure you received the neighborhood report I sent. If you need me to resend or have any questions, just let me know." So I can go ahead and send that off to Wesley here. And that's going to send that text message. It's going to show up in the texting history. And that's a great quick follow-up. I could also do the same for email, using email integration, email history, that kind of thing. So I'm going to go back to the follow-up coach, click Mark Done. Say I sent a text message. Sent market snapshot follow-up. Sorry, my hands are a little bit cold. It's getting a little bit hard to type text. And then what I'm going to do is I can schedule a follow-up. So I can maybe set a call to do follow-up on snapshot report, maybe for Friday if I haven't heard back from him by then. Save that wrap-up. Taking care of all that. Everything's documented in text, tasks, etc. So there's a couple examples of how you can use the follow-up coach to make sure no one falls through the cracks, do some extra prospecting, things like that. Stay on top of your database. So maybe you log in the morning, you take care of your tasks, your calls, to-dos, things like that. And then you're able to put aside perhaps, let's say 20, 30 minutes in the, let's say mid-afternoon or something, jump into the follow-up coach, see what else you can do, take care of your 5 contacts, or at least as many as you can. And that would be my challenge to any new top producer users. Jump into the follow-up coach, and I think you'll be very, very pleased with the results. It'll give you that edge, over other agents in your area that are not using tools like this to make the most of every single relationship in their database. So that's what Top Producer X is all about: building and maintaining relationships, and enjoying the business that comes from that. So guys, that is about all we have for today. Before we finish off though, definitely want to show you where to find more help and resources, including my Thursday show, 4 things you'll want to know after you set up Top Producer X. So just going to switch this over here. And so what's next? Like I said, self-serve TPX quick start videos. We have other webinar content as mentioned, and you can of course contact us. So we have lots of different ways to find help. So like I said here, please don't forget to take advantage of these resources. So you can subscribe to our YouTube page and our Facebook user group. Marvin can post links for you in the chat as well. YouTube page is where you can find all our support, knowledge, videos, things like that, quick start videos, webinar recordings. So all these webinars are recorded and posted on YouTube. You can find them there. You can access our Facebook user group to join in conversations with other Facebook users, top producer users, I should say, on Facebook. Our social media manager, Christine, would be happy to hear from you guys. And that's a great place to go for updates as well. You can use our Top Producer Campus page, our Top Producer support page, as a hub for your success, because you can go in so many different learning directions there. And I'll show you how to access that directly through Top Producer X as well. Check on the webinar schedule on our support page for all of our other live shows. And if you have questions, you can always contact customer care via the live chat, phone, or email. So jumping back into Top Producer X for 1 sec, click on the top right corner on your profile picture if you have it set, and then go to support site. This will launch you right into the Top Producer support page. So topproducer.com/campus. And then, you can view the video library, getting started guides, how-to guides, social, which will bring you to Facebook, or Facebook user group, and chat now, which will open the chat support. You can browse through various articles and sections for all of our products. Product updates are available here through our blog. Highly recommend checking out the blog. Great resource for not only top producer CRM updates, but also real estate news and tips and tricks in general. We put a lot of great content out through that for that as well. And then yeah, click on the webinar schedule, and this is going to let you view a calendar view of all the different shows we do. So if you'd like to join in for our session tomorrow, text templates and more in the latest release, where we'll talk about the recent TPX updates with text and templates, how to use them on Zoom and Facebook Live at the same time. Feel free to register through Zoom here, or go to our Facebook page. If you want to join me on Thursday for 4 things you'll want to know after you set up TPX, make sure you click on that one here on the 2nd and register. And guys, please keep in mind, all of our shows are always at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just make sure you register through the link here, or join us on YouTube or Facebook Live. Yeah, so guys, like I said, you can also contact us. Just want to reiterate this once more. Please do reach out if you need any help. We would much prefer it if you reach out as soon as there's an issue, as soon as there's something that's causing you confusion or you're getting stuck. We can help you troubleshoot that, get you on track, or if you'd like any coaching, things like that, you can definitely reach out as well. Any account inquiries, please reach out here as well. So like I said, bottom right corner of your Top Producer live chat, get help now. You can call us at 1-800-830-8300. Both of those options available Monday to Friday from 7:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Or you can, of course, email us at support@topproducer.com. So guys, hope that helps give you some insight onto getting started with Top Producer X. Join us for 4 things you'll want to know after you set up TPX on Thursday to learn more. Give us a call at customer care for that one-on-one sort of coaching experience. And guys, really dig in there. Make use of your CRM for as much as possible. Get it organized. It's going to be productive if it's organized. Get the biggest return on investment from your subscription by using it for everything related to your real estate business. And I think you'll be quite pleased with the results. So guys, once again, thank you so much for joining in today. This has been Spencer with Top Producer's Customer Success Team, joined by Marvin LaRosa on our research team in the live chat. Guys, hopefully we'll see you on Thursday. Give us a call if you need anything, and best of luck. Welcome to Top Producer. We'll see you guys again soon. Thank you so much.